those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with Karl Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday, June 24th, that is, family. Praising God for just another opportunity to be here with you. Seriously, I miss you all when we don't get to spend time together. I hope your weekend was a good one. And I really hope you made some unforgettable memories. How about that? Guess what? I read today that Wawa Hoagie Day is coming this week. And I'm not even a hoagie person, but I don't know. I got excited when I read it. I said, oh, it sounds like fun. But Wawa Welcome America Hoagie Day is June 27th. That's right. So there's a free food block party that will also feature some music from Voices of Service, which is a group of American veterans, and there'll be fireworks as the finale. That just sounds like fun. So I just wanted to share that with you. So, family, it's time for our Black History 365 moment. Yes, it is. Today's moment is that in February of 1688, a community of Quakers living in Germantown, Pennsylvania, filed the Germantown Quaker Petition against slavery. So Francis Daniel Pastorius, who founded Germantown in 1683 as a German-speaking community, wrote the petition for the monthly Quaker meeting, basing it on the golden rule from the Bible: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. He urged the abolishment of slavery for the British colony of Pennsylvania. Now, while slavery continued to be practiced in Pennsylvania, increasing numbers of Quakers and Mennonites began protesting and objecting. So, in 1776, a proclamation was issued by the Philadelphia Yearly Meeting banning the ownership of slaves. The 1688 petition remains the first American document arguing for equal human rights for everyone. Family, that is today's Black History 365 moment. So if you're joining us, let us know. Let us know. Send us a hello. Send us some love. We'll take it any way you care to share it. Yes, we will. You can call us. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can call us toll free by dialing 1-866-361-0900. Or you can comment on our socials, and I'll do my best to read it on the air. I will. I will. I'm sending a huge, huge shout out to our love light, Gerald Beasley, Alex Bouillon, Marion Meadows, Pooji Bell, Leanne Lord, and the staff at the Alfred Gross Theater of the Horace Mann School in the Bronx, and everyone who attended our show over the weekend. It was awesome. It was amazing. So thank you so much for a great time. It was just wonderful. I am wishing a happy birthday to all of our love lights who are celebrating. And I did not forget you. I didn't. I'm going to wait until he checks in to wish happy birthday to him, just to let him know I did not forget him. But happy birthday to all of you who are celebrating. We truly, truly do wish you a happy birthday. And I'm sending extra love and hugs to you if your light is shining even the slightest bit dimly today. We just want you to know that your tribe and your village right here at Love and Life want you to know that you're not alone, okay? You are never alone. We are always here. We are. All right, family. I see that some love lights are checking in. Nasir Butler, he's sending peace and blessings to everybody. Hey there, Nasir. Always happy to have you join us. And Malcolm is here as well. He shares that he's watching and listening from West Mount Airy. Well, good evening to you too, good sir. Hey there, Craig. Craig Williams is joining us, and he shares that he is listening intently, and he wishes everyone a good evening. We so appreciate that. Family, the hour goes by so quickly. So quickly. And I'm going to share two things with you, but we're going to jump right in, okay? Because I want you to meet our love bug in this hour. The first thing that I want to share with you is about our love bug, our very own Tiffany Bacon, who is hosting a new show. That's right. Tune in to Breaking Bread every Sunday, where Tiffany will broadcast from a different restaurant, eatery, or chef's kitchen, where delicious delights and curious conversation are on the menu. That's right. Special guests will join Tiffany for brunch, where the conversations will focus on culture, business, health and well-being, media, literature, and the arts. Break bread with us every Sunday from 11 a.m. until noon, right here on Word, Progressive Black Talk Media. The next thing I want to share with you is about Black queer power. That's right. So on Tuesday, June 25th, that is tomorrow at 4 p.m., tune in to Black Queer Power, a special Pride Month panel discussion moderated by City Council live host Ernest Owens. Black Queer Power examines the intersection of leadership, influence, and queer community and culture. Now, this conversation will highlight leaders who have challenged norms to occupy influential roles in civic life, government, media, arts, culture, and more. So we'll be talking to State Representative candidate Andre Carroll, Reverend Naomi Washington Lephart, performer icon Ebony Fierce, unpacking show hosts Malachi Stewart and Eric Cole, and others who are leading authentically as out and proud Black change agents in Philadelphia and beyond. Family, tune in tomorrow, Tuesday, June 25th, from 4 until 7 p.m. right here on Word Radio, and watch live on Word TV via Facebook, Twitch, and wordradio.com. This program is brought to you by Comcast. All right, family. Let's dive right in, okay? Our love light in this hour is the founder of an art gallery in the Chestnut Hill section of Philadelphia called the NoName Gallery. Now, NoName Gallery specializes in urban, street pop, abstract, and contemporary art, along with home furnishings made by artists. Our guest in this hour is none other than Jonene Lee, who is here to talk with us about a few things. So let's just jump into this conversation. How about we do that? Hey there, beautiful. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I will not complain. I will not complain today. Will not. I was sharing with you offline. I said, I can't get it together. Family, I said, I feel like I'm off my square, but guess what? I'm happy to be here nonetheless. So I'm trying not to claim it, but I'm good. So I know the hour goes by so fast, and I want our family members to get to know you and hear all about the gallery and everything that is in it. So would you first share with our family members just a little about you, from where you come, where you grew up, all that good stuff?
Um, mm, I grew up in a little town called Hilltown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It's around Percy, Pennsylvania. It's in Bucks County.
Okay.
My mom and dad are from West Philly. They both graduated from West Philly High. My dad was Black. My mom is so weird. My mom was white. She looked white, but she had a drop of Black in her. And she was born in 1940. So
Okay.
because of that, she had to use the Black water fountain and the Black bathroom because the one drop rule, you're Black, you have to use the. So
Wow.
yeah, so I grew up with a woman who I'm Black, but everybody else who saw her was like, well, your mom's white. And I still have a weird thing with it now. So
Mhm.
she had a hard time in West Philly growing up. She was bullied a lot and beat up a lot. So my grandfather owned a bar at 52nd and Market, and he sold the bar and he bought land in Bucks County to move up to Bucks County because that's going to be better. Well, my father was murdered when my mom was pregnant with me. So she moved up with they were supposed to live in the city, but ended up moving up to the country. So then my mom had, for a better life. I get it.
Right.
Well, not so
Not
much.
so much.
Not so much because she looked white. And here was her Black daughter. And we lived in a development. My mom suffered from severe mental illness. She had bipolar 1 with schizophrenia, and I'm an only child. So I grew up, emotional neglect is my trauma. We want to talk about traumas. Mine is emotional neglect. Loved me to death, but her up and down, not taking her meds, taking her meds. But I told you I was going to get straight into racism. Let's talk.
No. And I said, let's do it. Listen,
Yes.
your family, we talk about everything here, but know that it all plays a part.
It does. I think my whole upbringing and background really enabled me to open this gallery for the greater good of the art community. Like everything that I've been through. So growing up, high school was hard. I saw Beat Street when I was 11 years old on Betamax. I'm 49, so I'm dating myself, right? Betamax. My grandmom's house, I saw Beat Street. And I was like, I want to go there. That's where I want to live. My mom's like, no, we moved out of there. I'm not going. So I fell in love with the hip hop culture. That was my first. I started breakdancing. I started trying to draw graffiti. I started trying to rap. Sweet Tea, the rapper Sweet Tea.
Yes.
All day, every day. I can still rap all the lyrics to all her. Yeah, like this was it. I had found my place in life. I would go to school with my bamboo earrings on and my dressing, and everyone would make fun of me. I didn't care. I still have, my mom gave me this Jonene necklace for my 16th birthday. I started going roller skating in Bluebell at Young's Regency. And I swore, me and my friend Sonia Rodriguez, she was, we're still friends now, she's Portuguese. And I thought that I was going to go to this roller skating rink and all the Black girls were going to like me because the white girls, they called me the N-word. And they, so I'm like, it's going to be like Beat Street. I'm going to meet my people and it's going to be great. It was not great. I found out what my mom went through. I didn't know that there was racism not racism, but like colorism.
Right.
The Black community. I was like, well, what the heck? I thought we were all going to be friends. And I was a dancer. I always danced. I breakdanced. That's where my art started, breakdancing. Me and Sonia would go to Pulsations and and we go to Popcorns on Sunday nights in King of Prussia, and we would dress the same and battle everyone in the circle. And then there was, Rennie Harris, Pure Movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
one woman dancer back in the day, Crystal Frazier. And Crystal was
I
like,
know Crystal. Yes.
girl. Crystal was like, now you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Crystal was like, I'm going to start an all-female dance company, Montage. And so
yep.
Montage started with Michelle Bird, Crystal Frazier, Rita Jean Clark, Sonia, and me. We were the first people in Montage. And then we would start and that was when I really found my people. We were all different colors and everyone was, it wasn't about race for the first time in my life. It was not about race. It was about dance. And we all just wanted to dance. That's all we wanted to do all the time, everywhere, all the time dancing. And that with dance, I always had a camera in my hand. I forget this part. I always had a camera in my hand. I was always the girl. I played a lot of sports. Swimming was my sport. But in school, I did field hockey and stuff. On the bus, I would have a camera and take pictures of everyone.
Wow.
And so I just always carried my camera with me. And so through Montage, I just had a camera, would take pictures. And then we would dance in clubs and DJs were in clubs. And so when Montage finished, I left Montage, I was bartending. I was going to Temple. I didn't go back to school until I was about 28. Went to Temple, I was 28. I was bartending. And I had a camera and the scratch mechanics. I was bartending at Red Sky, right? Yeah. Bartending at Red Sky back in the day. And the scratch mechanics were the DJs. And it started with DJ XL. I was like, yo, do you want to walk around and take pictures? I'll just take pictures of you. And I shot with film, black and white film. And I did XL, Active, DJB, all of them, all the scratch mechanics. And I would just find people in the city, everyone, from Reef to everyone in the city. I would just call and be like, hey, you want to go walk around? I think it was MySpace era, I guess.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yes.
Maybe. Yes. And that's how I would just be like, hi. And it's like, they're getting free pictures. Why not? And then one day in 2008, I was shooting DJ XL. We're driving by the art museum, and he was like, you know, the Gordon Parks picture of the XL magazine of all the MCs? He's like, you should do that with the DJs. And I was like, bet. So then in 2008, myself and I asked Kamau Stanford to help me. And we did 2008 Philly DJ Day. And had 300 DJs from Mayor Nutter. Mayor Nutter used to be a DJ. He used to spin right? Yeah.
I remember, yes.
Mayor Nutter gave me a proclamation to the city. We had everyone, Jazzy Jeff, Questlove, everyone. They helped me because I'm like, I just want to take a picture. Can someone decide who the DJs are and what we're going to do? And then after that, photography took off and I was a photographer. But if I backtrack, I picked up a Percocet addiction when I left Montage. So for a decade, I was addicted to Percocets really bad. So
a decade.
Yeah. I was taking pills for a decade. A lot.
Was there a connection between you leaving Montage and?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I was bartending and I was making a ton of money.
Okay.
And I was going to school for communications and theater, and I was making a bunch of money bartending, and I was taking pills, but I didn't know I was addicted yet. And it was one of those things to where it's like, I love shopping, and these pills in my budget, they cost me money in my budget. I'm budgeting for pills, right? Montage doesn't really pay anything. Montage isn't paying anything. It's for fun. And I'm trying to be serious because I'm going to school and this is what I was telling myself.
Right.
Stuck with the art and but I made the choice to be like, I'm going to leave because I'm not making any money. And I just stopped going. Yeah. And I always think back to me and Michelle and Crystal, we've all they didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know what was going on at the time. It takes you a long time to be like, oh, wait, I'm addicted. Ooh.
That is just what I was about to ask you, because you were saying at first, well, I didn't realize I was addicted. So I was just about to ask you.
No. Oh, yeah, no, I only did it on the weekend. Just the weekend, it was fine. And then it was, well, I want to go shopping. So let me just take a pill and see what that's like. Wow, it's so much more fun. So I'm still not addicted though. And then I start realizing it would be like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing because I would work those shifts.
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, and not only do my feet hurt from bartending, but my lower back is hurting. My lower back hurts really bad. And I started taking pills when I was 28. So I'm in my young 30s and I'm very in shape. Before, and then sometimes my armpits sweat a lot. Like what all these little things were withdrawal. Your body gets addicted to opioids quick, real quick. So when you're not taking them, your body, I would get severe back pain and you sweat because when opioids make everything slower. You got to, heroin, all of it. It makes it very slower. So you don't sweat, you don't pee, you don't poop. You know what I mean? Everything stop. Yeah. Oh, I have diverticulitis.
Oh my God. Wait, Jonene. Oh, wait. I do not want to stop you, but we have to take a commercial break, family. You see, I know. Look, and didn't I tell you? I am all in. I am all in, family. Listen, it's time for us to take a short commercial break, but don't you go anywhere. You stay with us because we are coming right back.
Philadelphia homes are full of history, but some of that history may be hiding in the paint. Lead was used in paint for a long time, and it's dangerous for young children. Lead poisoning can cause serious health problems, but the good news is you can protect your family. Have your child's blood lead level checked and get your home tested for lead paint. Simple steps for a healthy future. Learn more at dli.pa.gov/lead testing.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Hey, this is AJ with your Penn Medicine Cares and the Community Updates. This June, schedule a free breast cancer screening with Penn Medicine in your community. Penn Medicine, in partnership with Siemens Healthineers, the Community of Christian Compassion, and The Fresh Grocer, are offering free breast cancer screenings with Siemens state-of-the-art mobile mammography van from June 3rd to June 14th. The screening van will be located at the Fresh Grocer parking lot, 421 South 69th Street in Upper Darby. Exams take less than 10 minutes. Private changing rooms are available, and translation services will be on site. Registration is encouraged, but walk-ins are welcome. Don't delay. Early detection saves lives. Call 267-414-2205 and register. That's 267-414-2205 to register for your free breast cancer screening with Penn Medicine. At Penn Medicine, our mission is improving the health of people we serve. Visit pennmedicine.org/community and learn more.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Word's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out these recent openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Public Health Management Corporation is hiring for exciting roles, including a medical director and registered nurses. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative. Brought to you by Word Radio, progressive Black Talk Media.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to Love and Life with Karl Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Karl Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with our love light, Jonene Lee, in this hour. We've been talking about everything, okay, just to bring you up to speed. But because I know this hour is going to go by so quickly, Jonene was sharing with us just before the commercial break about everything she was doing. First of all, you have got to be a master of all the trades because you shared, you are a dancer, you were bartending, you're a photographer, there's so many mediums in which you spent time. I can't imagine that you're not a master of all of them because
No, I'm not. I suck at most of them. I'm
No.
good at bringing people together. That's what I've learned at 49. All of those things I've created, whether it was montage, I created a great family. Like I don't have blood family support. My mom, I just met up with, I have 2 cousins and I know, we just met up a few weeks ago and we had a really good time. But my family comes from, they're fighting and we grew up in a lot of,
isn't that family though? Or no?
Yeah, no, not like ours. Not a lot of dysfunction to where it's like, I have to love you from afar because you're dysfunctional and dramatic and I can't with it. So I think I'm good at creating little families of people, I think. And I think that's what I've done my entire life.
And that, so as you say that, and I'm thinking, so in all of the areas in which you have experienced, what brought you to, or what was your inspiration for creating the NoName gallery, art gallery?
I don't know. I don't know. It's the most messed up thing.
No.
It is though, because I have to talk to, Yaya Horn of Tiny Room for Elephants.
Yes.
So Yaya and I are close, and she had our Dell had opened up Broad Hall in the Divine Lorraine downstairs in the basement, and he was doing art, and Yaya was curating for him. She's like, yo, I had a series before COVID. I was living with my kid in an apartment up the street, and I called it my black and white bedroom series. I would invite people over and we would have long talks because I'm not shooting models. I'm shooting regular people. I have long talks, loosen them up, we go in, take pictures.
Okay.
And so Yaya's like, let's display them at this place. And I don't know. I think just being around Yaya and the art, I don't know. So I do social media for Jansen. Mount Airy. David Jansen used to be the executive chef at Four Seasons, and he opened up a restaurant down here. It's another family I created. It's my Jan fam. I love them.
Okay.
But I do their social media. And I know the man who owns a lot of properties in Chestnut Hill. I was leaving with my camera one day and he was walking in and I was like, hey, there's an empty spot at the top of the block. Can I have a pop-up art show? And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, wait, what? I can? And he was like, yeah, you want to do it next week? I'm like, no, I need time. What?
Right.
Okay. And so I literally called up people that I knew around Chestnut Hill that did art. And then like my friends who were graffiti artists, but have like moved into contemporary art. And I had a really successful pop-up. I had DJ Active there, DJ Little Dave. Yeah. And the community loved it. And I was like, Chestnut Hill, I've lived here for 9 years. I like it here. I was working at the camera shop at the top of the hill. And it's a very nice community. And I know it used to, at least all the time, get a bad rap. It's like old white racist money. I mean, when you think about it, that's everywhere. Sorry.
That's exact. No, it really is. That's the world in which we live.
America. So I've been here for 9 years and I'm seeing it change, and I'm seeing it, progressively want more. So after I had that pop-up, I was like, oh, okay, y'all like this. Like you want a little bit. So I don't know. I worked it out. And
Chestnut Hill. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say Chestnut Hill, and I'm speaking because I had I known at the time, because I tend to go to Chestnut Hill from time to time. Chestnut Hill likes a little flavor. There's a lot of flavor in Chestnut Hill right now.
Liberal here. There's so, and you know what I really found? George Floyd. These people pulled up with the Black Lives Matter signs, with the I was walking around like, wow, okay.
Like, where am I? Right? No.
Yeah. When I first moved here, everyone says hi to you. You walk down the street on these cobblestone streets and everyone's like, hello. And at first I was like, what is wrong with everyone? Ew. Like, why is everyone, this is Philly. We don't do this. But now that I'm here, when I go into the city,
No.
like I went into the city, sometimes I don't leave my bubble. But
Mm-hmm.
when I went
It's
into
a nice bubble.
right?
Yeah,
When
I
went
wouldn't
to the
leave it
city,
either.
someone was walking past me and I said, I like waved and they didn't wave back. And I was like, oh God. Yeah, right. I'm in Center City. It's not the same.
No, it's not. It's really not. It is not the same. And I have a friend of mine opened a boutique in Chestnut Hill, and she was a guest. She and her daughter. And let me tell you. So, Claudia Averett. It's a Between Friends boutique. But yes. So, but let me tell you,
they were featured in the Inquirer. I called up the Inquirer because I wanted to get some. I'm all about that, all about who you know stuff. So one of my kids' friends at school, parent, works at the Inquirer. I was like, let me ask her if she'll write an article about that. You know what I mean? And I named all the people. I'm like, Between Friends is all the way down there too. Like, don't forget.
But the one thing I so appreciate about the bubble in which you all work, live, and just thrive is that all of you, just like you said, oh yeah, like all of you, because I have my moments where I say, okay, today I'm going I'm just going to all the Black owned businesses that I know, and I'm just going to go and buy something. I had my day, and it was Chestnut Hill was the area in which I went. So I went to Between Friends. I went to Jones's. I went to I can't think of the other one, but every single one of those establishments named the other. They said, well, did you stop by so and so? I love that, because that's what I believe we should be doing.
There's a sense
that's what
of
we should be doing. There is. And I love that. I love. That's what I was saying about Chestnut Hill. OMG. Don't misunderstand me, because I don't remember it always being that way, but I'm so appreciative that it's that way now.
Yeah, like from what I hear, I feel like that's anywhere. I feel like it's here because there's still a lot of money here. So where there's money, there's going to be a lot of old school thinking. But I always say they're dying and they're leaving all of their money to their kids and grandkids, and they're real liberal and they're real into community and they're real into supporting the arts and music. So it's like,
I'll take it. I will take it, because it's a welcoming feeling. It really is. I spent the whole day walking. I must have walked about 20 blocks. I just walked down, stopping at the different establishments. It was awesome. I'm going to take a moment. One of our love lights is on the phone. Ron, welcome to the conversation, and thank you for calling.
Yes, hello to both of y'all. Hope everybody's doing well. One day I told my story about my engagement with the Quakers, and which I speak with one all the time, at least 2 times a week. I'll tell that story. My reason for calling to comment what your comments that you made, open your program up. I want to give thanks. I made mention on the radio about it. I want to thank Wawa for what they did the other day. I want to thank Miss Jordan and the team that put that certainly host that over there at the African American Museum. What they did, they was putting the emphasis on the elders like myself, that they had tents set up. They made sure we had water. They made sure that and they were telling the audience, the people in the audience, they were saying if some younger people come up here, we're going to come up and ask you to move, and the elders could have a place to stay. I thought that was very, very mindful to do something like that. And and we were sitting under that tent where we was at, and so many of us elders was there. We reflect back into history with one of the old hymns that we start singing here. We're going to stay on the battlefield, not till we die, but while we live, and continue to give. And I was telling them, as I look around there, the people that are gathered there, all this living history was sitting under that tent there. And I just think, once again, a lot of us, the Almighty God, have allowed us to come out and to engage and reflect back on your family, what they came through in this country. And that's why I certainly hope, Cal, that you will consider. I don't tell an adult person what to do, not from you do this. I hope you get that film that I asked you to look at with the
I was looking for the Sounds of Buttermilk, the podcast about Emmett Till, right?
Okay, well, I'll get it for you. And the reason I want you to see that's a perfect example that when you see that, that's where you kick in. You kick in. And I said some words to you when you first allowed me to speak with you. Out of all the things I could have said, why would I say these words to you? And the reason I'm babbling because my cup running over, and the reason I want your eyes to see that was exactly what I was talking about when you see that elder up there at the age you were struggling with words. And it was so significant. And when you see it, you will never forget that because you probably had someone in your family that spoke like that. Our people was not ignorant. The society have gotten so now some of them talk about our people. We just had mother whip. They had to be intelligent people to be able to explain. I say to all the learner people, handle your elders with dignity
and care.
Speak with those who cannot speak with themselves. And that's why I want you to see that they tell.
I'm looking for it. I am looking for it, Ron. I was looking for it.
Okay. All right. So tell Miss Dr. Z, I didn't know her family member was 90 years of age. Tell her I'm constantly thinking of her and Auntie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you as always for pouring into us positively. We truly do appreciate you. Family, if you have just joined us, welcome and hello. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Karl Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with our love light, Jonene Lee. I see that some of our family members have checked in. Don't you think that I did not see you? I see you. Eric is checking in. He says, how are you, family? How are you on this marvelous Monday? I will not complain. You hear me? I will not. I'm slightly off my square today, but that's all right. I don't even know why I mentioned it because I said I'm trying not to claim it, but I'm here and I'm grateful. You know I am. Ms. Lily is checking in as well. Another one of our love lights. She's wishing everyone a happy Monday. Thank you so much. Norm McGowan is joining us. Hey, Norm, sharing a good evening with everyone and sharing that it's a beautiful day today. Loves that breeze. Me too. Ooh, sending good vibes from Overbrook. I know that's right. Malcolm shares, I heard of Hilltown. You hear that? He said, I never heard of Hilltown. Wow. Gary is checking in. Hey there, Gary Bryant, and Drina. I forgot I was just in Detroit. Oh, Drina shares, I'm watching from the sweetest sides of Detroit, Michigan. Hi there, Drina Ross, that is. So we are talking about NoName Art Gallery. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a lot of things, but most recently, we were talking about the NoName Art Gallery. I'm curious to know now, you said, I don't know from where I created it. It had to have been your sense of community, your sense of like gathering, like you shared, you shared that's your gift. It had to have come from that. Just listening to you talk, I feel like it just had to have been your sense of community that brought you to, that was your inspiration, the inspiration for it all. But I'm curious to know, like being in Chestnut Hill, number one, in what ways has the gallery itself affected, the community in Chestnut Hill? We talked about how it's different now. You say it's more liberal.
Well, they started so I opened with a business plan of, I want artists to make money, so I'm going to open it where their people have disposable incomes. Mm-hmm. And I want to have First Fridays. I grew up with First Fridays. We went to First Fridays, then we went to the 5 spot, or like it was First Fridays. Yeah. So I'm gonna have First Fridays. I don't care. I'll sit here by myself and do First Fridays. When I got here, I tried to get everyone involved, but like, it's just me here. There's no one else. And I'm doing a lot. And then I'm running it. I'm going into all the stores. I'm like, what did you do First Friday? Da-da-da. And I don't know. I don't think I realized how I already had a knack for marketing and promoting that I didn't know I had. Maybe it's, and I'll say, I said it the other day in a post because I had an event last week that I had to put my dog down. And so I had an event last week and I didn't promote it because I didn't feel like it. And like barely anyone came, but I wrote a post about it on Instagram. And I was like, I think I've got a lot of my promoting and marketing sense from like Stacy Fly Girl, like Fly Girl.
We love Stacy. Oh, we love Stacy.
Girl. And I think over the last 20, 30 years I've known her, like watching her promote, and she does sip and paint here. When I opened, she's to where, I'm like, where I go, you go. Wherever I'm going, you go. I weaseled myself into the Roots picnic this year, and I got 2 murals. And I was like, Stacy, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm people like where if I'm going big, when I'm going to all the big places,
that's
everyone's coming with me. Like we're all going together, and it's going to be fun for all of us. I got sidetracked. What did you ask me?
No, you didn't. Nope. I love it. Well, you know what? That's perfect anyway, because we're going to take a commercial break, but we'll finish when we come back. Family, stay with us because we're coming right back.
Hey there, good people. This is Mother, Andrea Lawful Sanders, your host Mondays through Fridays from 5 to 7 a.m. I want to thank you all, first of all, for joining me there because it warms my heart to see so many of you move to join me at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get up at 3:45 each morning so I can talk to each and every one of you and you reciprocate. On The Source, we talk about solutions. You've all seen me do this. Education is huge, and you all know Mother loves her seasoned citizens, right? And so we have all the conversations that you could possibly want. We also open up the phone line so you can call anytime you want to, because I always have a good dose of love and affection and understanding for each and every one of you. You know, we are undeniably here for you, the listeners. You have been so kind and so generous to us over the years, and it was my ultimate goal to give you exactly what you are looking for. So remember now, in these Wakondan streets, you can join us 5 a.m. every Monday through Friday, only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Meet us there and see you soon.
Philadelphia homes are full of history, but some of that history may be hiding in the paint. Lead was used in paint for a long time, and it's dangerous for young children. Lead poisoning can cause serious health problems, but the good news is you can protect your family. Have your child's blood lead level checked and get your home tested for lead paint. Simple steps for a healthy future. Learn more at dli.pa.gov/lead testing.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, you may qualify for a free continuous glucose monitor system. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM systems can automatically manage your diabetes better for you. And by using a CGM system, you can eliminate forever one thing most people with diabetes hate the most: finger sticks. Now it's possible to manage your diabetes better, end the painful finger sticks, and get a new CGM monitoring system at little or no cost to you. We even provide in-home delivery and do all the insurance paperwork for you. Now is the best time to manage your diabetes better and get your continuous glucose monitor. Call now for details. 800-396-0150. 800-396-0150. 800-396-0150. That's 800-396-0150.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy. June, what a lovely, lovely tune. It's almost that time to vote, so make a note. Tuesday, November the 5th. Coming our way. That's what I say. Now we're talking about 2 words. You've heard these before. Mothering and fathering. The definition is people who spread love. They don't give up. So when it comes to voting and they don't give up, they just keep on saying, we must vote. Yes, we must vote. Yes. Now mothering and fathering is gentle, you see. They just keep on saying with a smile, vote. We must vote. take a big old breath and say, we must vote. Tuesday, November the 5th, a serious time. This is Dr. Lucille Ijoy, Mothering.
And now back to Evening Words with Dr. James Peterson on WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hey there, family. We are back. Welcome back to Love and Life with Karl Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Jonene Lee in this hour. And didn't I tell you, I said I would get so carried away. I'm looking at the time and we have just a few minutes left. So, okay, I'm going to just shoot them at you. I have two questions that I definitely want to know the answer to. One of which is if you could tell us a little, now you were talking about Stacy, our beloved fly girl. If you could share with us a little bit about the various partnerships that NoName Art Gallery has.
Oh, I do. When I first opened, I told Stacy, I was like, let's do sip and paint. So we were doing them every single month, and then that became way too much for us. It's a lot. Now we do sip and paints every other month. I have a partnership with Jenks, the public school. Jenks is the school's name is Jenks for the Arts and Sciences. And I was like, why haven't any of the art galleries partnered with them? It's for the arts. I get, so I put 4 murals in there. Stacy did one of those too. And we're going to do one outside. And then every Wednesday I would go in and work with the kids in the art class, because we were doing like a little project to make a piece paver thing around the school. I have a partnership with the library too. I have an artist in there every Tuesday teaching like young kids in art class. And then I'm gonna have another artist go in to do a teen program in the summer. I'm curated a show at the Monkey and the Elephant on 28th and Girard. The Monkey and the Elephant hires kids, young adults that were previously in foster care. So I know the owner, Komo, and I wanted to do that partnership with them. I try to do, I think a lot of my partnerships help kids. I think, like, not by, I don't think of it that way, but a lot of my partnerships are very much, because I didn't grow up with an artistic anything. It was like, well, there's math and reading and history, and then I'm up there with all the white people. And so history was like Martin Luther King's slavery, yay. And it's like, well, this isn't fun. So there wasn't like I didn't have someone nurturing me as an artist, as a child. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I've always been confused, and I don't know, since opening the gallery, this is the first, I've gotten fired from every job I've ever had. I'm like the worst when it comes to, I say what's on my mind. I'm always like, why are we doing this? It's stupid. Like, like I'm that person. I didn't realize until like, let me open my own business. I got fired for dancing before. Yeah. Now I dance every day. Yeah, dancing. I was a disruption. They said I was a disruption. I was like, wow, sir. Okay. So I just opened a business for myself.
You know what? From everything that you've shared with us, it sounds like your passion was just screaming at you. The arts was, it was screaming at you you're in your own lane, and your passion was telling you that. Your passion was saying, stop.
And that's what I tell all these kids, what I tell my daughter's 8, and I tell her all the time, like, you can make millions doing whatever you want. Do not if you don't want to go to school, don't. I know your dad might tell you different. And if I'll nurture you if you want to go. We can find something else. Like if you are half of being, I think a lot of times being creative, people don't think that they're I do a lot of talks in schools too. I like talking to kids in school. And the first question I ask is, who's an artist? And 4 people raise their hand. And I'm like, everyone raised their hand. We're all artists. And I think a lot of people forget that where you get in life is a creative transformation. And, you know, you might not be drawing or dancing or singing but like.
Well, you know, I think it goes to what you and I were talking about just before we went on air. We were talking about, you know, trying to fit in. Now the conversation that you and I were having was that everybody's dealing with something. Everybody is navigating something. But I was sharing, I said, yeah, well, you know, the narrative is that, you know, we're all supposed to be perfect. When the reality is that no one is perfect, but we're all constantly pushed to fit into this cookie cutter mold.
Oh my God, it's so stressful there in that mold. The other day, just like yesterday, I think in my Instagram stories, I was like, look at how my face is drooping. Like people don't talk about this.
It is not.
No, but you know what I mean? Like I feel. And I read before that's like part of my trauma is that I word vomit and I say too much about stuff, but it's just, it feels good to say things so other people can feel comfortable in knowing that like they're going through the same exact thing.
That's what I shared with you.
Yeah.
Listen, I tell everyone all the time, communication is key. You never know. You just never know what you will say or what you will share that could be helpful to someone else. You just never know. You never know. But you know what? I'm going to ask you to help all of us in this moment and tell us where the gallery is located. Because I said, oh my goodness, I can't let her go. We don't know where the gallery is located.
It's located at 8127 Germantown Ave. We're right across the street from Bread and Beck's Bakery.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right across the street.
Yes. Of course, I was right there. Okay, that's 8127.
Yeah, Germantown Ave.
Wait, so family, I'm putting that in the chat. I just put the address in the chat and the name of the art gallery. I cannot believe it. I literally walked right by you. I cannot believe it. But that just means that I'll have to stop in when I'm back in the neighborhood.
Yeah, you'll have to go online, www.nonamegalleryphilly.com. I have all of our events. I have a first Friday. Every first Friday, you can come here for some. I just had a pride party on Saturday with a DJ. Yeah, I love bringing people together.
See that Malcolm shares, that's not far from him. Oh my goodness, as Miss Lily shares, I can't give the exact date. However, I will definitely visit your gallery. She shares, what a fascinating and intriguing interview. Sister Jonene, thank you for being so transparent and encouraging continued success in all of your endeavors. Oh, look at this. And here's my friend, one of my BFFs, Mardia. She shares, when are we going? You already know.
Yes.
We have to go to the paint and sip. Did you hear that? Or sip and paint?
Oh my God. Yo, we have so much. All you're going to do is laugh. We have so much fun.
Well, I'll tell you, the last time I went to a sip and paint, I broke the brush. I said, oh my goodness. Thank you. I had no intention of doing so, but you just never know. You just never know. So what you were sharing about events, do you have any upcoming events?
I don't. January or July and August are slow. So I try to calm down. I do have a guest curator coming in August, PXP Contemporary Gallery. She lives in Costa Rica. She went to Temple though. She's really sweet. I like to have all the artists in here, all the curators. I like to have good energy type people.
I love that.
But no, as of now, First Fridays. Every first Friday. And I also started Arts and Eats in Chestnut Hill. We all started it. The community started it, but they piggybacked off of First Fridays. You can go to any art gallery in Chestnut Hill on First Friday. We're all having events. All of the restaurants are offering specials. And then there are stores that are open all up and down Chestnut Hill that are having like special events, wine, cocktails, cheese. Like, yes, Chestnut Hill is a new First Friday destination spot. So like you have to come by.
Seriously is. Thank you for telling us that. We did not know. We did not know, family. Do you hear that? We've got some things to do. Listen, we don't ever have to worry about what to do or where to go on First Fridays. Thank you, Jonene. Oh my goodness, family. If you have just joined us, you missed a lot. You're going to have to watch this episode again. But We were talking with our love light, Jonene Lee, in this hour. She's about to leave us. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we've got another love light for you to meet, where we're going to have another exciting conversation. How about that? I know. On a Monday, you're saying all of this. That's what we do. You know that's what we do. That's what we do. Jonene, will you come back to visit with us?
Of course.
I have so enjoyed our conversation.
Wait, one last thing. Has anyone ever told you that like you should lead like meditation?
No.
Your voice is really soothing. Yeah. Like your voice, when you were talking, before I got on, like I was just like sitting there listening to your voice mesmerized. You have a very, like you should, I don't know how, but.
Me neither, but thank you.
I don't know. Maybe that's a new avenue.
How about that?
Yeah, meditation.
I receive it. You never know. I receive that. So thank you. Thank you so much. Family, listen, we're taking that commercial break. The phone lines, they're always open because you are always welcome to join the conversation. And always feel free to continue to comment on our socials. I'm going to read your comments out loud. Stay with us. See you later, Jonene. We'll see you next time. And thank you.
See ya.
We'll be right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed on Reality Check.
John Donnenberg, he is the director of the National Economic Council for Competition Council Policy.
The new rules that the president and his Department of Transportation have put out over the last week are really designed to, end that sort of nonsense. And they're in two big categories. In the first category is disclosure. The airlines have to tell consumers upfront what it is they're going to be charged. Is there a fee for a first bag or a second bag or a carry-on? Is there a fee for a change or a cancellation? These sorts of things. And then the second one is on refunds. And the idea here is pretty simple. If your flight is canceled or significantly changed or your baggage disappears for extended periods of time, you get a refund. It's automatic. It's for what it is that you paid. And it's going to come back to you in cash or on your credit card, not chasing down vouchers, for months.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds from Reality Check on WURD Progressive. Black Talk Media.
Children's mental health is in crisis. That's why the Kids Mental Health Foundation envisions a future where mental health is a vital part of growing up. Families tell us the challenges are real.
What do you do to feel happy?
I don't know.
Can you describe what it feels like when you're sad?
I get mad easily. I just lay in my bed and be by myself.
When it comes to mental health, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
I do get overwhelmed. We see them struggling emotionally and you're like, where do I go? What do I do?
You're going to find tons of things on the internet, but you want it to be from a trusted source.
I felt like everything that I wanted to provide for her, I wasn't going to be able to do.
We need help.
We need help. Yes, we need help.
Most childhood health resources focus on physical well-being. But what about our kids' mental health? The Kids Mental Health Foundation provides free, expert-developed resources to millions across the United States. Don't wait for a concern or crisis. Early action can be life-changing. Learn more at kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org.
Want to be heard on Word?
Yes, this is Miss Renee King out of Philadelphia.
Dial 215-634-8065 to join the conversation. Outside of Philly, dial 1-866-361-0900. First-time caller? Great. We would love to hear from you. Word is the voice of the African American community, so make yours heard. Please limit calls to once per day. Spread the word and tell a friend to tune in and join the conversation.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
We are the home of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Karl Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with yours truly, Karl Riddick, right here on WURD. I just love that conversation we just had. Such a story of triumph, and listen, family, we talk all the time about these boxes that we're all in. We talk about self-love. We talk about, just mental health and all of that good stuff. It just feels good to me to just be able to share good stories of, when we're on that journey and doing well. And Jonene is doing well. She is doing well. So we've all got to get up there to NoName Art Gallery. Yes, we do. I also shared with you, though, that in this hour, the second hour, I have another exciting love light for you to meet. Yes, I do. His name is Karl Dunn. Now, Karl is a multi-award-winning advertising creative director who has lived and worked in 11 cities throughout Australia, Africa, Asia, Europe, and America. He speaks on a broad section of topics such as diversity, equity, and inclusion, and self-love. A culmination of his 25 years in international business, his personal experience of divorce, and his passion for the rights of the LGBTQ plus community. He's actually the author of How to Burn a Rainbow, which is an intimate, honest, and revealing story about divorce and self-love, which was recently released. So we're going to talk about all of that in this hour. At least we're going to try to get all of that in, okay? So I welcome you to the conversation, family, with none other than Karl Dunn. Hey there, Karl. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to be on the show, Karl. Thank you for having me.
Well, it is a pleasure and a privilege, Karl. I won't complain. I was sharing earlier. I'm a little off my block today, but guess what? I'm happy nonetheless to be able to be here. So, I'm not complaining.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're happy to have you. So, Karl, I like to ask our family members, our new family members, as you are, if you could share just a little about you, from where you come. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Well, my parents are Australians, but I was actually born in Canada. I inherited from my parents this globe-trotting, tendencies that they have. So my parents are quite epic travelers, and they lived in Canada for 10 years. And so my brother and I were born in a mining town in far northern Manitoba, like a tiny town, like in the middle of nowhere. It was a great place to grow up. And then we moved back to Australia when I was 8, I think. I think it was when I was 8. It's
A
going back
baby, baby.
Still like a little one. And then I grew up in Australia. So I did most of, my schooling was done in Australia and university. And I think of myself as an Australian. But then I left, I got into advertising. I left and went overseas to work because that just seemed like a really exciting thing to do. And then, I kind of never went back to Australia. I tried moving back once, didn't quite take. So I've lived most of my life around the world. Yeah, which has been a real privilege.
Oh, no, absolutely. I love that. I love that for you. I mean, the world is a beautiful place, isn't it?
It's the more you see of it, the more you realize there's even more to see.
Oh my goodness. Yes. It's so vast. There's just so much. I love that. So I love that for you. I sure do. So now where are you based now?
Well, nowadays I live between Berlin and the States. So
Okay.
I
Where
went
was
to Berlin. Yeah, I've got a long history with that city. I started going there for work in the mid 2000s
Okay.
and was working for this one advertising agency. And we pitched and won this huge global account. And so they'd said, look, could you just come back every year and help us with the campaign? So I was like, oh, that sounds great. So this one that I thought was going to be like a 2-week job turned into a 2-month job, turned into a 5-year job. And Berlin became a big part of my life. And when my divorce started and my marriage was going south and my life was literally going up in flames here in the States, I lived in California for 13 years before I moved to Berlin.
Okay.
I couldn't think of anywhere else to go. And I just thought, right, with the last of the money I've got in the middle of this divorce, I'm going to get a ticket to Berlin, landed there with my hair on fire and thought, all right, well, I need to kind of write down all these things that I'm thinking and feeling and experiencing through this divorce. And originally it was started as therapy, but it just ended up becoming a book instead, which I started writing when I was living in an artist collective when I first landed there.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it was quite a change.
Carl,
Yeah.
you can't just breeze over that. You can't just say, when I was living in this artist collective, like we want to know about the artist collective as well. You can't just sweep that.
It was an incredible experience. Like my life in Los Angeles basically was, here I was with this big advertising career, this 3-story loft house in the Los Feliz Hills, making tons of money and la 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 la. But I was working myself to death. My relationship was really on the rocks, and it all looked great on Instagram, but I was miserable. I was just a really unhappy person. And in previous to my divorce starting, I had been in Europe and I'd met this guy. We met and had this incredible connection. And he is a queer performance. He's a kind of English teacher by trade, and lived in this artist collective. And then when everything crashed and burned, and I was flying to Berlin, and we had been in conversation. He's like, "Hey, there's a spare room in the collective if you want to come." I'm like, "Sounds great." So the next thing, I went from living that life in LA to the next thing, I'm in this ramshackle old building that is a holdout against the gentrification of Berlin. I'm living with artists, teachers, asylum seekers, low income. Everything in that place is like big, borrowed, well, I won't say stolen, but just like made out of scraps, rescued from the street, and everybody in there. Yeah, everyone in there no one had any money. So everybody helped each other out. And everyone in that building knew how to cut every corner, every way to save money here, every trick to get around stuff. And it was such an incredible re-education. Like my life in LA had turned me into a house cat. And back in the artist collective, it's like, oh, wow, I have to learn to kind of like hunt for my own food again. I've got to like remember how to be a proper human being that can do things with their hands and fix things. So, yeah, it was a great re-education. And also, like, I can't think of another experience that would have landed me in the company of so many people that I would never have crossed paths with normally. So yeah, it was a great place to start. Yeah.
Now, call me crazy, which you probably will, but that just sounds like, that sounds like such an amazing experience to me.
Yeah, it
Being
was.
in the company, like you said, of so many different individuals, but we're talking about the bare minimum and having to do for yourself and like you said, like learn some things all over again, like that. Well, for me, I just believe simplicity is best. I love simple things. I just love simple. Simplicity is it's just beauty to me. There's just beauty in simplistic things and living a simplistic life and lifestyle. So that sounds to me, that I'm sure you're thinking, okay, yeah, go try it. You tell me how beautiful it is, but
well, it was shocking at the time. I mean, it felt in a lot of ways like an incredible loss. There had been, the loss of my marriage, the loss of my relationship, the status that I had as a married person in society. you know, especially coming from a minority group who've always been kept under. And then suddenly, you know, by having a wedding ring on my finger, I was suddenly equal to everybody else. It was this absolute thing that could not be debated. And actually what was really nice is it was one of the first times I felt like I had something truly in common with everybody else, and it was wonderful. So it was a lot of loss. And then, you know, when, you know, unfortunately the way we are raised in Western society as men is to evaluate our worth based on, you know, how much money we're making and what kind of job we've got. So to suddenly find myself jobless and penniless and sleeping on an air mattress was a lot of whiplash, I have to say. You know, it came suddenly, and it was very much like I woke up one day and went, wow, what happened? Like literally what happened to my life? I don't understand how I got here. And the fall was so spectacular. I mean, I had like $800 left in the bank, no visas. I mean, and no end of my divorce in sight, and no lawyers. My first lawyers had fired me. So yeah, it was a real, it was kind of incredible because it was this feeling of having lost everything that I thought was important to go right back to basics and then discover actually what's really important.
That, oh my goodness. And I'm so sorry because I did not in any way intend to discount the devastation that you experienced. No, but I want to be clear because I'm talking about butterflies and rainbows, and you're saying, wait, slow down, go fast. No, talk about, you know, this part of it. So I want to be clear that I did not in any way discount your devastation, but I also did not feel the severity of it until you just explained it again. So thank you for that. Thank you for bringing me there. Thank you for that.
Of course, no. Yeah, I mean, it felt, but having said all that, it was also incredibly freeing. I mean, I suddenly was, you know, for the first time in I could not remember how long, I had no boss, no employees, no partner, no responsibilities. I mean, I still had this divorce to figure out. But it was incredibly freeing, and it actually gave me time to stop and think, all right, well, that was that life. It's clearly over. So what am I doing with the rest of it? And it gave me an enormous amount of space to think, especially amongst a bunch of people for whom, you know, their prime directive was not capitalistically driven. You know, these were not people who were engaged in the game that I had been playing in the States. So yeah, it was incredibly freeing as well. I mean, I really treasure the time that I was there. That was nearly a whole year, actually, of my first year in Berlin. I think it was about 9 months, actually. 9 months was spent there in the collective.
Wow. Yeah. So please share with us, because listen, the hour goes by so fast. I'll be saying, Karl, come back, please, to tell us, you know, the reason that you actually came. Please talk with us about How to Burn a Rainbow, your memoir.
Yeah, well, what I found was when my divorce first kicked off in Los Angeles, I went looking for a book on gay divorce and I couldn't find one. And then I was looking online. I could barely find an article on it. I mean, the articles were just you kind of went, hey, same-sex divorces are happening. And I'm thinking, yeah, I know, I'm in one. Can someone tell me what to do now, please? And what I found also is that, you know, our community, because we'd only just been granted the right to get married, none of my friends had any experience with divorce. So they were there and they were supporting me, but they couldn't advise me on what to do. And in fact, when I was recounting the legal things that were happening to me, they were like, this doesn't make any sense. It was wild, you know. So I decided very early on in my divorce, because I basically, you know, had been repeating the same patterns in my life and in my relationships for my whole life. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to go through this, and I could see at the beginning, it's like, this is going to get rough. I mean, our divorce got as ugly as those things got from the word go. I thought, okay, if I'm going to go through this, I want to come out the other side a different person. I don't want to be the same guy again. So I decided what I was going to do was use it as my crisis of identity, in the way that I'd seen a lot of my heterosexual friends, my male friends, when their wives or girlfriends were pregnant for the first time, they suddenly were like, oh my God, I'm like an overgrown boy. And like in 9 months, I've got to be a role model for a human being. Like, who am I? What do I stand for? What are my values? What do I want to pass on? And the men I know figure that stuff out, or they certainly get it rolling, And I thought, okay, well, I'm never going to have kids, but maybe this could be that for me. Maybe I could use this in the same way. So that's what I decided to do early on. So even though the book kicks off and it's about a divorce that a gay man is going through, and it drives a lot of the action, it kicked off the bigger story, which was this journey to figure out who I am. And that's really the bulk of the story. I mean, the divorce is interesting and fascinating, and anyone who's going through a divorce could read it and get a lot of great advice out of it, advice that I was. But it's more the journey that I went on became the far more fascinating story. And what's interesting is when you jump on a journey like that, guides pop up in the oddest and strangest of places. People will pop up to give you the advice and info that you need at that moment. The kind of the universe or God, or however you like to think of a higher power that's above us all, is working in your favor. And your job is just to look for the signs, keep your ears open, and, step through the looking glass, because often it will feel like you're having very surreal conversations. But yeah, that's the bulk of what it became. So the book is really a kind of compendium of the wisdom of over 100 people, people I met, people I read about. And I just wove it all together so that it became really a story about a human being who went through a human experience and arrived at a place of self-love and changed their entire life because of it. And that's the story that's connecting with people all over the world who are going through all different kinds of life situations. They're not in the community, they're not divorced, but they're relating to it, and they're finding it powerful and like a source of wisdom and companionship and tools and techniques and things that they're applying into their own life. So I couldn't be happier as the writer that it's doing that. It's connecting with so many people.
I bet. How I don't doubt that. I do want to share that our love lights are checking in and they are commenting. Joey Dixon is joining us. Hi there, Joey. Miss Joanne, she shares, I have an Australian cousin. Well, I have an Australian cousin. One was married in Queensland and with Hello May magazine. Look at that. Look at that. And Eric has a question. Eric shares, good evening, Karl Dunn. Thank you for joining the WURD platform this evening. Did you realize early on that your book would eventually be advantageous to same-sex couples? I'm certain some people are rethinking things and planning better for their future.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I mean, I originally wrote it so that no one from my community would have to go through divorce not having a clue about what to do. I didn't want anyone to go through that path on their own like I had to. But I think actually and I'm really glad that it actually found a bigger, audience, and it connected with a bigger group of people. But I would say also it's a book for anyone in the community that's thinking about getting married, because there was a lot of stuff I discovered about marriage, a lot of questions I wish I'd asked myself about marriage before I'd done it, which unfortunately I was only asking myself during my divorce. But it was a lot of, I think if you're preparing to get married, there's a lot of good stuff to read in there. I mean, people get very concerned when they hear it's a book about divorce, because they're like, like it's like, I don't want to look at that, I don't want to jinx myself. But a lot of people have said to me that it's really helped them understand, like LGBTQ plus, or every other people as well who aren't in the community have said to me it's helped them understand themselves, understand their partners, their relationships, their marriages, in a way that they didn't understand them before they started reading the book. And I mean, I think I would just wish that for everyone, like just to know yourself, know why you're doing these things, why you're making these commitments, what they mean to you spiritually, societally, religiously, historically, all of that. And to know then if it's right for you, because I think there's a lot of pressure, certainly for heterosexuals, to get married. But even now, we're starting in our own community. If people have been together for a while, now we're starting to ask each other, so when are you getting married? When are you getting married? And it's becoming a default thing to do, whereas I think it's something we should all think about and ask ourselves questions about before we jump in. Yeah.
Absolutely. It is a life-changing decision. Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. There's a lot of pressure, nowadays. With the question pops up with everybody, if you've been in a relationship for an extended period of time. Family, for those of you who have just joined us, welcome. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Karl Riddick, right here on WURD. We are talking with Karl Dunn, and we are talking about his memoir, How to Burn a Rainbow. I've got a ton more questions, and family, I know that you do too. But it's time for us to take a short commercial break. But I'm going to tell you that the phone lines will remain open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. But whatever you do, stay with us, okay? Because we're coming right back.
Good morning, it's Solomon Jones, host of the hottest morning show on radio. Wake up with Word. Listen weekdays from 7 to 10 a.m. for laughter, for fun, for politics, for family, for more than you can imagine. Check it out every day, Monday through Friday. Wake up with Word on 96.1 FM, 900 AM, WURD.
I'm so excited. It's our first road trip.
Me too, babe. It takes us about 13 hours to get there.
Oh, don't worry. I got you. I have everything we need. Snacks, juice, water, and a big cash payout scratch-off.
Big cash payout?
It's a new game from the Pennsylvania Lottery. We could be on the road to $500,000. Buckle your seatbelt, honey. This is a big one.
Our road trip or the scratch-off?
Both. Pick up the Pennsylvania Lottery Big Cash Payout Scratch-Off game today. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Problem gambling? Helpline. 1-800-GAMBLER.
White people go around, it seems to me, with a very carefully suppressed terror of black people. They don't know what the blackface hides. They're sure it's hiding something. What it's hiding is American history. What it's hiding is what white people know they have done and are doing. White people know one thing. They know they would not like to be black here.
James Baldwin is a name we will never forget in literature and civil rights. Born August 2nd, 1924 in Harlem, New York, Baldwin emerged as a profound voice of his generation. He fearlessly addressed the complex intersections of race, sexuality, and identity while adeptly writing about social injustices. An essayist, novelist, and playwright, Baldwin's esteemed works still hold truth and meaning today. Some of his most notable works include The Fire Next Time, a scathing critique of American racism through two letters, one addressed to America and the other to his nephew. Giovanni's Room, now considered part of the LGBTQ canon, Giovanni's Room explores a story of same-sex desire set in 1950s Paris. And Notes of a Native Son, an insightful collection of essays about race, popular culture, and more in America and Europe. Baldwin's activism was not confined to the page. He was known as a prominent civil rights and gay liberation activist who paved the way for Black queer thought, writing, and art. His legacy lives on today as we celebrate the brilliance of our Black LGBTQ ancestors. We wish all of our LGBTQIA listeners a month filled with joy, celebration, and pride. This Pride Month vignette was brought to you by Comcast.
Represent!
Want the latest in word swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. It's the shop tab on wordradio.com. You can look good and show the world that you're all about Black Talk Media. We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk Media, WURD.
You're listening to Love and Life with Karl Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
And we are back. Welcome back to Love and Life with Karl Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with our love light, Karl Dunn, in this hour, and we are talking about his memoir, How to Burn a Rainbow. I see that our love lights are continuing to check in. Sync Blue shares, I'm just joining, just checking in, just checking in. Well, you know, we love to have you. We do. We surely do. And Eric shares a follow-up. He shares, I know a few gay couples who regret jumping into marriage just because it was the it thing to do. The rules apply pretty much the same, but with a different spin. I always tell people, look before you leap because it's difficult to swim in quicksand. Oh, I'm going to have to put that in my pocket. It's difficult to swim in. I'm going to put that in my pocket, Eric. Thank you for that. He always gives me a little something. So, Karl, you were sharing with us, you were talking about the support that you received just from, you know, everywhere, unexpected places, which I find so amazing about us. It really, like you said, when you're open, that's when you see it, that's when you hear it, that's when you feel it, that's when it comes from every direction. But I was reading, and I'm hoping you could talk with us about what it feels like to have How to Burn a Rainbow hit #1 in new releases on Amazon, in divorce and LGBTQ plus studies, as well as having made the top 10 bestseller list in LGBTQ plus memoirs on its opening weekend. I mean, seriously? What?
I know. I was 2 places behind Mama Ru, just 2 spots behind her at one stage, and I was above Rebel Wilson. I mean,
it doesn't get better than that.
I was just like, you know, like, wow. Was not expecting that. So happy about it. And I think it was because, you know, there was an appetite for a story like this out there. And, you know, in that initial wave of people, it was a lot of people, obviously, who follow my Instagram and had been hearing about the book and waiting for the big day on the launch. And that was wild, you know, but they had told friends and they had told friends. So there was this real groundswell in that first opening weekend, which was fantastic. And, you know, my PR company also had done an outstanding job as well, like fanning the flames of it. So that was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's what you hope, you know. I think it's something Lady Gaga said, not often quoted as a as a philosopher, but, you know, she did say that it go for impact, don't go for fame. And I think that what the book is doing is it is really kind of making an impact, because now when I look at where it ranks on Amazon, and it fluctuates a lot, it's interesting, but all these people who are buying it now, they're not people I know. They're not people who follow me on Instagram. They're people who've heard about it. And I love that I'm hearing stories from people who are saying, I bought it, I read it, I couldn't put it down. It read like a thriller. You know, they said it was wild. Like it's wild. The way it reads kind of almost like a film, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's very interesting. Like when I read it myself now, I'm like, wow, this is really, it's got a great plot, you know. But it's interesting how it has, you know, they'll buy it and then they'll go to a friend of theirs, hey, I know you're going through it right now, you should read this. It's a gay divorce book, but it's not gay and it's not about divorce. It's about everything else that you're going through. Like, just read this. And they've said that that's a lot of how the book is traveling now, as people are starting to recommend it to each other, which is wonderful, you know. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing, I have to say. Yeah. This thing sat on my laptop for 6 years. I was trying to get it out. And so to finally have it out in the world, yeah, it takes a long time to write a book. And it takes a lot, like when you write a memoir also, you have to go through a legal process that every memoirist has to go through when you know, are talking about real life events. So, you know, you have to do that process. And, but it was good. I mean, I'm glad it took 6 years, because this is the other thing about writing a book like this. You know, the first draft, I mean, I'm happy to say it now, the first draft was a little hot.
Okay.
A had a very particular point of view that it was working very hard to sell the reader on about poor me. And what actually happened over time was that, and it's the kind of thing that only can happen with time. You know, one of the major characters in the book, pointing that way, not that way, that way. One of the major characters in the book, John Hare, says time is the one ingredient you can't fake. And
how about that?
It takes time to really figure out, you know, your own culpability in something. Like there's a very powerful lesson right at the beginning that kicked off my journey. And it's called Miriam's Law. And it was a bit of knowledge given to me by a friend of mine called Miriam in Berlin. And it's about radical responsibility. You know, she had something happen in her life, which to me seemed like an incredible betrayal. And I was so incensed on her behalf, you know, because at this point in the book, I've had a huge fight with my husband on our honeymoon. We've been together 7 years already, but we've had this huge fight. And I've gone like, you do whatever you want to do. I'm going to Berlin. I'll see you back in LA. Like, I mean, I'm thinking it might be over. So fresh off these betrayals, or what I presume to be betrayals, and to hear her story, I was so incensed on her behalf. And then when she was talking about the people involved, she said, oh, no, Karl, anger's not required at all. Like, I know those people better than they know themselves. And she had, you know, gone away to have a kid and come back and found out her job was gone. And she said, look, I knew if I was away for any amount of time at all, this is exactly what would happen. So when I found out I was pregnant, I chose to have my baby over my business. And she's like, how can I be angry at them for doing exactly what I expected them to do? And when she dropped that one, I was like, oh.
Right.
And then I realized that fight that I'd had with my husband, or my ex-husband, but my husband at the time, I'd not only been expecting that fight to happen, I'd been waiting for it. I'd been rehearsing the script. Half the things that I yelled at him on the street in that fight we had came from this thing that I'd already written. And I thought, I knew this was going to happen. So actually, I'm at least 50% responsible for this. And it was wild. I mean, and that thing kicked off the everything. Yeah.
You know, I think that's one of the things we don't talk about when we talk about divorce. We, you know, because now, family, you know, I don't know, but I would be willing to bet, and I do believe that it's that right there, because there's some things that you already know. There's something that's already there that you know, and as it continues to fester, when it finally comes out, you're dealing with the fact that I knew this already. I knew this already. You know, and you're beating yourself up because you knew it already. And that hurts a lot. And having to admit that and accept it and then navigate it and then move forward. That's that process right there. Listen, I don't wish that on anyone. I don't care who they are. I don't wish that on anyone. I do not. So I did read too that you began doing speaking engagements. Was that ever like a thought of yours? Like, did you ever anticipate?
No, I didn't know what I didn't know what was going to come out of this book. I had no idea. And what I'm finding is that it gave me experiences I had in this you know, journey that I went on in the book, gave me a really interesting take on diversity and equity and inclusion, because I think, you know, I learned the most from people who lived lives that were nothing like mine. They did not have the same lives. They did not have the same life experiences. They did not have the same opinions as me. They were very different. And they're the people I learned the most from. And what it taught me was that it's really only people who are, the further removed they are from your circle, the more you can learn from them. So the people who seem to be the most opposite to us, who we think are just these others that are over there somewhere, they're the ones that have the most to teach us. And hopefully vice versa. And the world that we're living in right now that is so disconnected, and we're not talking to anyone who doesn't share exactly the same opinion as us, we cancel them instead of conversing with them and talking with them. And this is, I think, we're participating in our own Darwinism here, because we need each other. And we need and we have to give, and the equity part is to give all of those opinions the same value. You have to, if someone has an opinion, you have to accept it as being as valid as yours. And then you've got to come at this person from there, meet them there. And inclusivity, you've got to include those opinions. You have to include all these things that seem so foreign to you, include them. And then this is how you actually discover more about yourself. I think the thing that most people think about diversity, equity, inclusion is there's a group of people who seem to think that it's coming to take away things from them. Whereas in actuality, I think when we all do it well together, it doesn't take things away from us. It gives us more of us, more of ourselves. So this is, a great insight that I had, that came out of this book. And then the other part of it that's was not expecting at all is in the family law industry.
I read that.
Yeah. I'm just starting my first, inquiries and figuring out the first places I'm going to start talking at family law conventions, because they don't know a lot about us as a community. Because like marriage and divorce is very new for us, it's also very new for divorce attorneys. And the law is the law. And I get into that in the book. I get into a lot about how, the divorce law is written for the battle of the sexes as they stood at the end of the 80s and the start of the 90s. The majority of divorce law is written for that, with a presumption for all the wrong reasons, because of how our society functions and, the opportunities that are available to women and what women get paid and the expectations put on them. That in the law is written with the expectation there's a man who's the one who earns more, and that there's a woman who's a caretaker at home raising children. And the law's written for that. Now just put two guys or two women in there who are childless, and it suddenly all these laws that you can argue the validity of them or the numbers with them with heterosexuals, but suddenly you put it on same-sex couples. It's like, wait, what? Hang on, what? And it doesn't make any sense. It's fascinating. So it's to give them a point of view of, not just the fact that, these people who are walking through your doors are coming to divorce from a different place than heterosexuals are, and how to prepare them for that. And also how to prepare them for, I think the moral aspect of it. Because if there's the one who earns more and the one who earns less, the one who earns less has all the power in a divorce. It's very one-sided and based on your pay scale. And so whereas, if that was a woman with children and she's got to think about these children that she's raising, I mean, the laws for those reasons, I'm 100% for, absolutely. You have to protect women and children against the kind of men who would just leave them. But we know those dudes. They used to beat us up in high school. We're well aware of who these guys are, right? But, I think there's a moral aspect to it, which is not something ever discussed in law. There's a lot of there's actually a guy I talk about in the book, Dylan, who had a 60-40 relationship with his husband on everything. Everything was paid for 60-40 because Dylan earned less than his husband. So groceries, holidays, houses, cars, even the divorce attorneys were paid for 60-40. And he was surprised by how many people so the settlement, of course, also was 60-40, but the law is 50-50. And he could have got 50 if he'd wanted it. He could have had it like that because that's what the law says. And he said he was amazed by how many people encouraged him to do it. And he's like, why would I want to profit off the end of my relationship? And the irony is I've met a lot of divorced couples, gay, straight, lesbian, everything. Not one of them says their divorce was fast, painless, fair, and that they're still really good friends with their ex, except Dylan and his ex, and they're the only ones who didn't use the law to do it. I think there's, come on in.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
talking a
add me
lot.
to that. No, you're not. No, I encourage
Oh,
that.
all
I
right.
was
Okay.
just sharing that. No, I mean, that I'm divorced. Family, for those of you who are unaware, I'm
Yeah.
divorced, but I didn't want anything. I didn't want anything, and I just wanted there to be a clean break. I just, and we, we're friendly. It's
Yeah.
there's no. But I think that's the way
Mm.
it should be. I don't.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I don't. Once we agree, or even if you don't agree,
Mm.
once one member of the party is of the opinion that this is, no
Mm.
longer for them, then I believe at that moment there should be a mutual agreement to just,
I do too.
go separate ways. But I mean, hey, I'm only one person. Who am I? Family, it's time for us to take a
Yeah.
commercial break. Eric has a question. I see your question, Eric, and I have a few more of my own when we come back from this commercial break. So, family, stay with us because you already know we are coming right back.
Tune in this Wednesday at 10:40 a.m. for the Who Is AARP segment on Reality Check with Tanya Pendleton, featuring Angela Forshaw Rouse. Learn about the many benefits AARP provides the community. Tune in Wednesday at 10:40 a.m. brought to you by AARP Pennsylvania.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, you may qualify for a free continuous glucose monitor system. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM systems can automatically manage your diabetes better for you. And by using a CGM system, you can eliminate forever one thing most people with diabetes hate the most: finger sticks. Now it's possible to manage your diabetes better, end the painful finger sticks, and get a new CGM monitoring system at little or no cost to you. We even provide in-home delivery and do all the insurance paperwork for you. Now is the best time to manage your diabetes better and get your continuous glucose monitor. Call now for details. 800-396-0150. 800-396-0150. 800-396-0150. That's 800-396-0150.
In honor of Black Music Month, this is the Trans-Afro Express, a celebration of African, Caribbean, and African American music.
In the arts. So then the art is what is happening at a particular time of a people's development or underdevelopment, see. So I think as far as Africa is concerned, music cannot be for enjoyment. Music has to be for revolution.
This is Fela, a Nigerian-born musician, composer, activist, and widely heralded as the godfather of Afrobeat. Fela's sound is described as a wonderful blend of traditional Yoruba music, calypso, salsa, and highlife, mixed with funk and jazz. His life is so intriguing and music so influential that he was the subject of a 2009 Broadway musical, which ran until early 2011. This Black Music Month, we celebrate the artists of the diaspora who influence the world. This Black Music Month vignette was brought to you by PICO, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, Keystone First, and Ensemble Arts. For more information on the Trans-Afro Express, join us for our live event on June 14th at World Cafe Live. After June 14th, check out the panel discussion on soundcloud.com/on WURD.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, progressive Black talk media.
I think I know what love is.
And we are back, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Karl Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Karl Dunn. He is the author of How to Burn a Rainbow, his memoir. We've been talking about so much, but welcome. I did share before the commercial break that Just Rick has a question. He shares, awesome title, but how do you burn a rainbow? It sounds like you are extinguishing something beautiful.
Well, that's a great question. Excellent question. The title refers actually to the idea of all the rainbows that we chase in our lives, that have these elusive pots of gold at the end of them that we think are going to make us happy. And, the scripts that we get handed by, larger society, by our community, about the things that we're supposed to do, the kinds of people we're supposed to be. So the point of the title was about just burning those instead of chasing them. And writing your own script instead of following someone else's. So yeah, that's where the title came from.
I love that. Well, to that point, can you talk with us about how to chase a rainbow?
How to chase a rainbow? The
yes,
prequel, you mean? Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, it's funny. I wrote this little prequel like way back about 10 dates that I went on in Los Angeles before I met my ex-husband on the 11th date. And so it was kind of, like a backstory to my state of mind when I met my ex-husband. And yeah, I mean, it was really, I was on a mission. I was husband hunting hard in LA. So yeah, How to Chase a Rainbow became these chase I did. I mean, it was these 10 dates are kind of these tragicomic dates in Los Angeles. And interesting, they're kind of written at a time that came from an old blog post that I'd done ages ago on a blog that's no longer up. And it started from there. And when I released that, which was a free thing that I'd released just before the book came out to gather a bit of interest in the book. I was very much a different person from the one who got divorced, and a very different person from the person who wrote this book, and a different person from that person who wrote the book, because the journey just always keeps going. And it's funny when I look back on that How to Chase a Rainbow, I'm like, I was a little unkind, I think, sometimes on some of those dates. But again, it was because of everything that I wanted this person to be, that they weren't living up to, this checklist that they weren't hitting. Because I had a very specific idea of the person I needed to be with, who was supposed to wave a magic wand and make all my dark stuff go away. All these unresolved things inside me. Your job is to fix that, even though I will never tell you that that's your job. That's your job. And so, I was quite brutal, I think, in a lot of, and I would say also in the other way around, we seem to be hunting for these partners who we think are going to fix us. Whereas in actuality, what I discovered was, you have to get right with yourself. And until you've done that, until you love yourself and don't need anyone else, that's the time to meet someone who's gone through the same journey that you've been through, like attracting like. And it took me a long time. I mean, I had to figure that one out at the ripe old age of 50, 51.
Well, first of all, good for you, because some people don't get there. So some people don't figure it out. So good for you that it did finally come. I want to share with you. Malcolm shares, Eric stole my thunder with that question.
Hey, well, I hope I answered it all right, Malcolm.
And Eric shares, he follows up, I hope you and you alone get the royalties and checks for this book and future books. The divorce is over. No more joint bank accounts.
No. I mean, my business with my ex-husband is done. That was concluded. It's all in there. But I mean, and it's a very liberating thing to be freed from that finally. Although it did take me a while to realize I was free from the moment I said that I wanted a divorce. I thought freedom only began once I escaped all the legalities and everything else, but really I was free already. And I hadn't realized that. A friend of mine had to explain, had to lay it out for me over dinner and explain to me, yeah, you're free already and you're missing it.
But
Yeah.
I think that's because of the pressure, the amount of pressure
Mm.
that we all feel to get married. So
Yeah.
when you're single, so then once you're married and you're at that point when you're going through a divorce, you don't realize it hasn't hit you yet. One of
Yeah.
our love lights, Miss Lily, she shares, I am elated when I hear that divorced couples can still remain friends or friendly after a divorce. Yeah, I didn't want it any other way. I don't want it any other way. I really don't. So now we have shared so much about how to burn a rainbow and, well, both how to burn a rainbow and how to chase a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't shared where we can find. Now, I did mention Amazon, but we want to let our family members know where they can find both.
Well, if you're going to Amazon, just unfortunately, there's a little technical glitch. There's a kind of ghost listing. So sometimes when people Google it, they write to me and say, hey, it's out of print. It's not out of print. If you get that, just click on the paperback or click on the ebook and you go to the live listing. And I'm trying to figure that out with them, but it's tricky. But anyway, so it is available on Amazon, but it's also available on most online platforms as well. So for instance, if you have listeners up in Canada where Kobo is very popular, you can find it on Kobo. You can buy it at big bookstores. You can order it through them. Or if you really love to support your local bookstores, you can go down there, give them the title, they can look it up and they can order it in for you. And for how to chase a rainbow, that one is on my website. So if you go to my website, you'll find where it is. That's karldunn.com. And you'll find a listing for, how to chase a rainbow. You sign up to my newsletter. You get How to Chase a Rainbow as a free ebook download. And you'll get to hear from me every 2 weeks on LGBTQ plus lensed current affairs, pop culture stuff. I have this newsletter that I like putting out in the world. It's just kind of a fun thing for me that is just, sharing things. It's called Friends of Karl as my newsletter.
Okay.
And I just it's the stuff that I would be telling my friends about anyway. So I just stick it in a newsletter. Yeah.
Well, family, what I did was share the title of the memoir, How to Burn a Rainbow, in the chat. I shared that it is a memoir. It's available on Amazon and most online platforms. And I also typed Karl's website on our socials as well. So you can find that in the chat too. And now, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I thought it was LGBTQIA plus.
There are many different versions, and I like, in my lifetime, it's been LGBT, LGBTQ, LGBTQ plus, LGBTQIA plus, 2S LGBTQIA plus. I just went with LGBTQ plus in a lot of my writing, which is not to discount the identities of those other letters, but the plus was originally put on to include everyone who didn't fit in one of those letters. And I just find, for myself, I like saying LGBTQ plus or queer. I think queer is a great word because every letter feels an ownership. They own a bit of that word. So I think queer is becoming a kind of easier catch-all phrase for all of us.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my
right?
That's my personal feeling. Yeah, that's the cue. But we often will just say queer sex or queer families or queer people, and it's becoming more of a shorthand that I think all the letters kind of agree on.
Okay.
But I'm just speaking for myself,
I need an education. I really don't. I don't know, and I feel badly.
Oh, it's fine. No, it's totally okay. Something I often will say is it's totally okay not to know. I sometimes don't know all the latest stuff, so don't worry about it. And something I always say to people in my community, like when people come to us and they don't know all the right words or the right things to say, and they only have the framework to speak to us through what they know of the world, I'm always like, look, when people come to our aid, we're going to get a lot of imperfect allies, and we just got to grab them in and say, okay, thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting. A couple of words you might want to, just include in your vocabulary. And, people want to be our friends, so we got to bring them in, make them feel welcome, make them a cup of tea.
Hello. Look, like me and my tea. You see me and my tea. Like I
There
share,
it
we're
is.
all in this together. Yes, I always have my cup of
We
tea.
are all in this together. Like, honestly, like,
We are all in
I'm
this
of one community, you're of a different community, but we don't know what it is to walk in each other's shoes. We'll
No.
never quite understand that, but we're walking down many of the same roads together. I mean, I learned, I can read a book like Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Renieto Lodge, which was an incredible book. I'm reading it, and she's a Black woman from the UK who's written about her experience in the UK. And I'm reading it going, yep, I know that. Oh yeah, felt that. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, we're feeling the same things, but we're getting there for different reasons, but we're all feeling the same stuff. So yeah,
I just
all
want
of
us
us
to
together, we're
all
better,
that.
all of us together.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
We are. Carl, I have so enjoyed our conversation.
Me too.
I hope that you will come back to visit with us and
I
welcome.
would love to.
Good.
Mhm.
Good.
I got another book coming out. I'm starting on that one. So when I got that one ready, 100%, promise you,
You
Carol,
better,
I'll be back for more
Carol,
chats.
I need to come back. And I'll say,
Mhm.
right.
All right.
Well, I love it. I love it. Family, OMG, I so hope that you two have enjoyed the conversations we've had tonight. Our love light, Miss Lily, she shares peace and blessings to all. We receive it and we send it back to you. Malcolm shares, what a great show tonight. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Here
man.
we are, family. This is the part that I don't like. I don't want to say goodnight to you because I hate to leave, but I'm always grateful that God willing, He'll let me come back to spend some time with you tomorrow. So here we are, just praising God from whom all blessings flow. I'm going to ask that you all continue to pray as we all need it. Don't forget to include your enemies and your loved ones in those prayers. That's right. Thank you to our guests and our callers for sharing your time, your energy, your attention, your knowledge, your spirit, and your space. We so appreciate you for doing so. Family, thank you to all of you for doing the same. Special thanks to the entire Word family, especially Nick and Niall, for all that you do. Happy birthday once again to all of our love lights, especially Harry Wims. Harry, I did not forget you. Happy birthday. Today is Harry's birthday. Family, remember, we are all in this together. So be good to you, but be good to those around you. Please, please, please be careful and be kind. God loves you, and so do I. Okay? You have a great rest of your night, and be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 until 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, family.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's